Hello and welcome to Katrina's Creations. Today has absolutely nothing to do with fiber at all, but I have some china that is vintage, some of it's new, some of it I don't know how old it is, and I am concerned whether it has lead in it. So I bought this, I actually got this from Temu, but you could get it other places as well. It is a lead test swab, and what you do, these have some little cotton swabs, and you put 5 drops of this stuff. 5 drops of this stuff on it, and then you swab the china for 30 seconds. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to talk about the china and how old I think some of it is, and we'll go from there. Now the first china I'm going to start with, we'll talk about a little at a time, is my Corelle ware. Now this is the pattern that I have. This pattern was made in two different patterns actually. This was called Old Town, and it was produced, it was one of the original patterns. It's also one of the ones out of, I believe, 5 of the ones from the early 70s that did contain lead. Now, everything I had read was from 1971 on, they were not supposed to be making things with lead, but I'm not sure how all of that works. But anyway, from what I understand, what I've read about Corelle is some of it could have lead in it up until 2005. So there's this pattern which is called Old Town. But then there was another pattern they came out with just fairly recently in the last couple of years that you can see. It's the negative of this. It's the same pattern, basically, just the negative. And this was called True Blue. And True Blue was made up of pieces with the solid band as well as pieces that initially went to the Old Town. So this I know I am safe with because I purchased this from an outlet just a couple of years ago. So I looked at the trademark on the back and it just says Corelle made in the US, but I know that this is okay because, like I said, I bought this about 3 years ago. So any that have a trademark like that I don't have to worry about. This is some I just bought recently in a store. I got it at Walmart, and it's just the plain white, and it says Corelle Vitrel. So I know that anything with this trademark I'm probably okay with as well. So I'm just going to be testing ones that have other trademarks other than those two, because some of them I've bought off of eBay, some I've bought at antique places, so I really don't know the age of those. So this first one, this is a like luncheon plate or salad plate, and here is what the label looks like. So there we go, it says Corelle Livingware. So it has this style on it. So has a child-proof cap that only children can open. All right, we have success. So I'm going to get a swab out of here. So there's our swab. And then you put 5 drops of this stuff on it. And this little cap opens up here, apparently. Okay. And 5. Okay, and now I'm supposed to rub it on here for 30 seconds. These will be going into the dishwasher when I'm done, don't worry. And while I'm rubbing this, it actually gives you a scale thing here to read. This means there's no lead detected, and the darker it gets, it means there is lead detected. All right. And it looks like we are okay with this one. No lead detected. Okay, that's one that we have down that we now know is okay. So set that one to the side. The next dish also looks the same as this, but the back on it says Corelle by Corning. And these I did get off of eBay. So again, we will put some drops on here. From what I have read, the gold pattern, it was called Golden Butterflies, that one has the highest content of lead. There was also an older pattern that had green. The design was all done in green, and another one it was all done in brown. And there's one other one, and I forget what color it was, but very 70s type of colors. Those are the ones that have had in the past some lead content. And a lot of times they say it's okay as long as it doesn't get scratched or worn, but I mean, they're everyday dishes. I use these all the time. All right, and we are once again totally safe here. So we're good. So that's plate number 2 down. The other trademark I have on the back, and I did try to look these up on online, and it's funny because they don't say anything about dates based on the trademark. This is the other one that I found that was a little different when I looked through all my dishes, and that's Corelle Vitrel, which is what is still on some of the newer ones. So we will test this one, and then if this is okay, then all of my Corelle ware is safe. This yellow that you see here, that's just from the dye of the drops that I'm putting on. I'm actually just rubbing it on the tip, because the droplet things have some color to them. And we are safe there. Good, we're not going to get poisoned by using the Corelle ware. Now we're going to move on to, I have 3 sets of china that are very, very similar. I'll tell you a little bit about them. This is the Blue Danube pattern. And some of Blue Danube has been made from, I believe it was the 1950s until 2001 or 2002. But this is the pattern. And then on the back, it has different trademarks. This is the older trademark right here that has a ribbon. And here I have also one that's a little different from this, but is still done with the ribbon. And then there are some that I have, and I didn't bring them over. There's some that I have that just say Blue Danube in a rectangular box. Those are the newer ones. So those would be after 2001. So those are fine. So it's just these 2 that I'm not sure of. So we're going to be testing both of those. And this china I also got from eBay and from different like indoor flea markets and things like that. So I don't know the age of them. So we are going to test each one. I figure if I find that this one is safe, then any of the other dishes that have that same trademark were made in the same basic time period, so they should all be safe. That way I don't have to test every single piece of it. So I'm only testing the ones that have different trademarks on the back. And again, we look like we are safe, so that's good for that pattern. Now we will try the cup, because like I said, this has slightly different, and I know that this ribbon is the older style. So you can see the Q-tip looks yellow when you first get started. So let's see, let's pick some of the darker area here. And this cup does have a little chip in it. I bought it off of eBay and I didn't read the description well enough, and so I have two cups that have a slight chip. You can see it right here. So I don't tend to use them, only as a backup, and I usually give them to myself or to Dave. It's not really where your mouth is going to be, but I try not to use them if I can avoid it. Okay, and it looks like, again, we are safe. So this discoloration down here is not where I've been in contact with the china. That's from the drops. So that one looks good as well. Now we'll move on to my other china that is very similar to this pattern. So here's my, like I said, the blue Danube. This is some I got off of eBay. I have a couple pieces of this. This is actually called Blue Angel by Present, and it's an English company. Now this one does have some crazing. You can see it right in here. And there is some crazing in the bowl itself. If any of the dishes, this is the one I'm the most worried about. So we will give it a test, but you can see they both have kind of the same kind of pattern here. They're very similar. And the third pattern I'm going to test is one my mother-in-law gave me, which again is the same style. It's just, this is a little bit more of a navy color, and this is a more brilliant cobalt type of color blue. So we're going to test this one next. I have mostly serving pieces for this. I have a sugar and creamer. I have a couple of serving bowls, and I think that's it. So again, I'll pick one of the darker areas here to test. This particular pattern, it's called Blue Onion. You see it in a lot of different variations. Like I've got it in 3 different sets, but they all kind of blend together. But they also made it, I think Meissen made a set. Several different companies made variations of it, as well as Corelle ware as well. And I love blue and white china. I don't know why, I just always have. Okay, and it has been the full amount of time, and yay, it looks like we are once again safe. There's nothing on the tip. And again, that yellow color here is from the drops, because this stuff does have a slight color to it. So everything looks okay with this piece. And then the last one we're going to test, the company that made this, it's by Nico. You can see it has some crazing too. Nico, Japan, it's called Double Phoenix. And my mother-in-law gave me this. I have some serving pieces. This is a dinner plate, but I don't have a full set. It's just bits and pieces. She said that the rest of it is somewhere in the basement at their house. But this particular pattern was made from 1957 until 1995. And I know that she bought it on a trip down to Williamsburg in Virginia. They used to go there quite often. So I'm guessing, based on what I know, they used to go to Williamsburg a lot, that it would have been late 60s up until maybe the mid 80s is where I'm guessing the time period. So we will once again pick a darker area here. Get it right on the tip. Dave's coming in. So far we are not going to turn into the Mad Hatter with lead poisoning. We're safe so far. Dave does not look overly worried anyway. And once again, we look like we are safe. So, looks like all of our china is not going to poison us, which is a good thing. And now I've got a whole bunch of things to throw into the dishwasher, but at least we know we're safe to use them. And yes, you did hear me say I'm going to put them in the dishwasher. None of this is like bone china or fine china. Most of it is an ironware, so it's not like real good china, but I use it for my good china, except for the Corelle ware, which we use every day. So good to know that Dave and I are not going to go crazy, at least from lead in our dishes. We
just go crazy.
Dave says we'll just go crazy for other reasons. But anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed this and you found it helpful, and I've definitely found it helpful. I won't blame craziness on the dishes, at least. So thanks for watching, and I will see you again on Saturday. Bye, everybody.